So let's talk about the patch that is coming in what, 2 weeks? All right, everybody say what's up to YouTube. Everyone say hi, YouTube. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about the Strive notes that recently got announced or shown off after Arc Revo Japan Top 8. So we're just gonna be going through the order of like screenshots and that I have them. I don't know if they're in like the right order, but we're just gonna go through what I have, right? And this is everything that they've included and shown off. So you can skip like rating update, I guess. So this is like tower updates, like it says right here. So it's nothing I'm too interested in, but I guess it's cool because they're making the experience of playing the game a bit better, which I think is pretty dope. So you can skip rating update sequence and settings. I think that's when you get points, or like when you are trying to get VIP. Oh, I see. So it's when you get VIP when you're trying to get into Celestial. So you can play 3 matches even if you lose, or even if you get a rating update mid-set, because usually it kicks you out. So you can play the best of 3 all the way. So now, okay, so this is cool because now you can manually select what room in heaven that you want to play in, or what room on whatever floor you want to play in, and you don't have to RNG. So if you really want to stream snipe, your favorite streamer, whoever that may be, now you can do it with ease. You just can find whatever room they're in and insta stream snipe them. Addition conditions for rating changes, making it easier to match with opponents at the same skill level. So I'm not quite sure what this means. Yeah, making it easier to match with opponents at the same skill level. I guess it's just trying to... That's like your character level, right? So like, it's just trying to like keep the like level of player similar, I guess. So this one's huge because we finally get the connection strength and the ping. We finally get to see their ping. Reduce the loading time of our code too. Oh, that's pog. Hell yeah. But I guess it doesn't show Wi-Fi, but I guess this shows like PC and this is like console or not, right? So that's pretty good. You don't have to play with someone that has 1 billion MS. You can see the connection before you play, which is pretty good. I think that's cool. We just need the Wi-Fi indicator. I think that would be good. But besides that, it's looking pretty spicy for the experience, the updates to the experience. So I think that's pretty dope. I don't really have much thoughts on the net play because it's not really the most important thing to me. So let's go to the next thing, which should be balance patch. Battle balance patch. Balance direction. So it's buffs for characters other than the highly rated, removing the gap in character strength rather than making overall improvements or additions. Okay, so that bullet point is both very pog but very scary at the same time, because it's like, who determines what's highly rated? It's obviously not the players, right? So is it what is doing well in tournaments? Is it what the devs deem good for the direction of the game or bad? I hope this means buffs and nerfs, because I don't like it when there's only nerfs and I don't like it when there's only buffs, right? So I hope things get toned down and I hope characters get brought up, Which it sounds like you can interpret this as like that's what they're going to do, right? With like removing the gap in character strength rather than making overall improvements or additions. Or it could be like really bad and they just do some weird stuff, right? I don't know. I don't really know what this means. It just means that they're not gonna buff the top tier that they deem are top tier, so we'll see. Revised opportunities for landing highly damaging combos, increased base damage for scaling some attacks, set host standing S, etc. So they're nerfing the damage, which is something I think everyone has whined about for over a year since the game came out. It's just like, nerf the damage, right? Like, please nerf the damage. And I think that's very justified, Like, there's so much opportunity to like do insane damage off of like the smallest hits. So like, you're getting counter hit 6p, counter hit like 5k into like someone's Gatling of like 2D or like 6k or 6h or like 6k, whatever it may be, and they do like a 30% combo to Oki, right? So like, hopefully stuff like that becomes a lot weaker and the ground game becomes a lot more stronger and a lot less like troll people mashing 6p and mashing like these really low recovery normals into high damage. Probably like H normals will probably still give you like really big damage if they hit raw. Probably certain special move starters, like as counter hit or just on hit, will probably give you a good starter, maybe. Like, it'll be interesting to see how they revise the, that. How fast risk gauge cranks. Yeah, so Kevin, the Gaga guy in chat, brings up a good point. As an outsider, I think the damage also stems from how fast the risk gauge cranks in the game. I don't hear much about risk gauge adjustment. That brings us to the next point, which is increased reward when the defender goes into counteroffensive, which sounds weird, and adjusted tension gain and risk level depletion rate depending on the situation. So this is nerfing. So I guess this is like the first note when it's like if you decide to mash or do something and escape offense, right? You decide to play active defense, they're gonna nerf the amount of tension, maybe the offender gains doing something to you, and they're gonna nerf how slowly risk depletes, maybe, depending on how they adjust it. Like, it's really vague. Like, they're not saying, okay, we're gonna nerf risk and we're gonna make it go away really fast, right? Like, they're not saying that, but like, you would hope it's something in that kind, it falls into like that kind of line where it's like, yeah, we're gonna adjust risk and make it a little less toxic, not be as rewarding for how fast it's cranked in this game, because your risk gets, you get like 50% risk off of like one block string, and then if you get hit off of anything, it does so much damage after. So like, hopefully they adjust how much normals give you risk, and like your risk depletes faster, and then maybe like IBing, you'll get more reward for IBing besides like the spacing thing and IBFD. It's very, very vague, but I am hopeful. I'm of the party that wants the game to change, and I think I've talked about this with like other players like Leffen and like Jonathan and like Apology Man. We always have this discussion of like, we feel like the game systems are getting better every patch, right? Like every version, they're going in like a pretty good direction. Like, it's only going up, it's not going down, right? So the only thing that they really need to work on super hard, besides some slight system mechanic changes, is mostly character balance. So hopefully, you know, our predictions are right, and they nerf a lot of things that are super toxic, which is like a lot of the crazy top tiers, right? Like, example, Nago, Leo, Happy Chaos, Ram, etc., right? And then they also buff and change things about the system to be in a more positive light and have a better gameplay experience overall. Let's go to the next one. So update. So this is just like the overall summary of like what's coming. So battle balance changes for all characters, so that's cool that everyone's gonna get updated. Nobody, because there's been patches where characters don't get updated, right? So everyone's getting adjusted, which is cool. They're gonna update the network mode, which is dope. They're doing some cool things with that. It makes the gameplay experience better. That's something I've complained about a lot, is the just playing the game is kind of annoying sometimes. And crossplay implementation, December 15th. We should have a juicy stream for that. It's gonna be good. So I think, like, closing thoughts, my hopes and dreams for the patch. I think it seems likely that there could be some big changes in like the competitive meta for like the game, depending on how they adjust like the really high tier characters, right? Like I said, Ram, Leo, Happy Chaos, Nago, and how they nerf them, or if they buff them, because some could not even be highly rated, right? It's so vague with what they mean. And then like how they bring up the characters that aren't those characters, right? Like, I just wonder how in line they are with like their own community, right? So it's very interesting to see what they'll do. But I guess for my hopes, I really want to see other characters. Everyone in the game is viable, but there's obviously a very big gap in strength, right, with each character, especially like the top tier to the high tier and so on, right? I just want to see the characters. I just want to see characters be closer in strength, and I really want to see a lot of the super toxic stuff in the game not exist anymore. So I think like there's offense like Happy Chaos and Nago, where like the game is made to be super interactive, and you're supposed to You're supposed to use the defensive mechanics and like just mechanics of the game in general to survive like their offense. But with those characters, they bypass the mechanics, and it doesn't matter how good you are using the mechanics. You still die, or like you still have to deal with the offense no matter what, because it's so uninteractive. Which in other games, they have like the systems in place to negate that, but in this game, it doesn't really have the systems in place to punish them for going for that kind of offense hard enough, right? Because they can be, because they have resources, right? But their resources like automatically manage themselves with like bullets and like blood gauge and focus gauge. Hopefully they do something about that. They get too much meter too. That's a good point. I mean, they build meter like crazy. Oh, one thing, I hope they adjust how much meter you get on hit. Some characters, they build more meter for their opponent on hit than they build in a combo for themselves. I have some ideas on like how you could nerf characters. Like for instance, for Happy Chaos, I would make the super not reload you, and it doesn't corner carry as far. Those are my 2 nerfs to that super. Because you already get everything off of it. I don't think it should corner carry half the screen, and I don't think it should auto reload you. Just mix up the meta. Yeah, that's what I really want too. I want change. You got their buffing low tiers, but I feel like the only nerf top tiers they might lift out with having no tools to play with. I think they will give top tiers new tools to play with, but also while adjusting them, hopefully. My biggest thing is I just hope they make defense more intuitive this version, and not like blind hedging a bet. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Because when you ask a top player, it's like, oh, how do you defend against this? It's like, well, you have to factor in that you have to guess 4 different ways, right? And it's just like, I would like to not guess, but I would like to be rewarded for being able to use system mechanics and reacting and stuff like that. So the game is going in a direction where that's more common, and I think that's super cool. So I hope it goes more that direction. Nerfing FD? I don't think FD is that broken, honestly. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up though. So everyone say bye YouTube, and thanks everybody for watching. See ya.